Ni hao, where's Stephanie? Ah, my voice is back. Holy cow. I think I filmed that last depressing I have no voice video just as my voice was hitting rock bottom and then started to rebound back. I still have, actually, hold on. My green tea. Yeah, I love it. I still have a little bit of voice, I want to call them voice blackouts. There's probably a technical term for them, where my voice just kind of blanks out and doesn't have any sound behind it, but my lips are still moving. It's still happening, but it's infinitely better than a few days ago. And you guys didn't even hear the worst of it in that video, so I needed to actually get a tiny bit of sound before I could even make that video. It's been a crazy 2.5 weeks, and I'm super glad it's over. But anyway, I need to focus on this video, right? Hold on. Okay. I'm making videos on people that speak the Chinese language, what sounds like to me, really damn well. This is one of those videos. This is the inspiring Chinese, non-native Chinese speaker who's speaking it really well, and obviously I need a better title. I don't know. I don't care. Look, there are people that use the Chinese language and are able to show us their usage of it without, how do I say this, without showing off, without talking just to a camera. Like, they're doing something with the language. That's what I want to do in this video. In the last video like this, I showed you Lena from Lena Around. And in this one, I'm going to show you Winston from Serpentza and ADV China. Those are YouTube videos. I know I say them like everybody knows YouTube video titles. Look, I'm a YouTube junkie. There's no accident that I'm on YouTube now, because when you consume something long enough, you start to think that you can do it. Yeah. All right, so Winston does not have a language channel. Winston does not, he talks about the Chinese language very rarely, but he uses the Chinese language a lot. And this is what makes him awesome. Well, no, there's like a trillion reasons what make him awesome. Hold on. I'm sorry, I was doing a podcast this morning, and so I got used to saying things when people couldn't see them, but you can see me drinking, so I actually don't need to tell you to pause, right? Yeah, okay. So Winston's channel is more culture-based. If you want to pause and go look at some of the channels, he's been vlogging. He's apparently the original China vlogger, right? And he's been vlogging about China cultural issues for a long, 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 long time. I know there are some serious haters out there who have massive issues with his channel. I don't understand that. As someone who's not from China, who has lived in China cumulatively for, coming up on 3 years, depending on, well, we're not even going to go into that. Anyway, 3 to 4 years, we'll just say. I think his videos are incredibly interesting, and I think his perspective is very honest, and I think he's also very transparent about this is his viewpoint. He does say in China this happens, in China this happens, but I don't think there's any pretense that everything he says is complete and utter fact and there's no other way to look at it. I don't think he does that, but I think some people take his viewpoints and his information because they're so clear and concise. They misconstrue them. They take them the wrong way. I don't. I take them for what they're worth. YouTube is a medium, is a medium where people entertain and inform. And whenever you have an entertainment part and an entertainment stake in things, you know, it's never 100% completely exactly the truth. And let's face it, the truth is forever shifting. So there's that. I mean, yeah. So anyway, so he does do a lot of videos on China. The ADV China channel is him and another gentleman riding around on motorcycles around China and doing different videos there as well. He also has a few documentaries and all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff. He's got basically a YouTube or media career about his experiences in China. But that's not what I want to focus on, but it is part of the context. Because Winston has lived in China for over 10 years, I think it's 15 years, but let's just say over 10 years, he very early on learned the Chinese language. Touche. I did not. I'm learning mine rather late in the game. So there's that. So yay. Good job, very good. But that's not the point. Again, he doesn't actually spend most of his, I think I've only seen one of his videos where he specifically addresses learning the Chinese language because enough of his viewers asked him, and so he answered the question. But he does use the Chinese language. He does use Chinese. Can I just say that instead of saying the Chinese language? Because that feels overly formal and awkward. Yeah. Anyway, he uses Chinese in a lot of his videos when he's talking to people, when he's going around and motorbiking around and going into stores and doing different things. He uses the language to do something else. Not to show off his language, but to communicate. That is what I want to focus on in these videos. Now, it's funny because I was thinking about using him as one of the next people to talk about in this kind of video, and I'm actually going to cheat and put a cough drop in because the green tea is not soothing my throat enough to make a video, so clunk, clunk, clunk. So in his newest video, he does a couple of things. He's, apparently he's doing a cell phone giveaway, he's doing a giveaway of 2 Chinese mobile phones to people from anywhere in the world that are watching his channel. But what he does, and what I thought was really, really brilliant, is he talked to, he went into a couple of different places in the video. I think there's 2 videos he said that are going to be about this giveaway, but the one that I watched that came out already, and the second one's coming out soon, but the one that I watched recently, and I'll put in the comment section below, he went into 2 different places. One was like, it looked like a tech mall, and he kind of, as he was filming, he got kicked out of that mall, so whatever. And the second one was an actual mobile phone store. What he did in this video is he walked in, well, he said he asked them ahead of time if he could film his experience in the store, and they said fine. So what he did in the video is he walks you through the process of buying this mobile phone and asking the different questions for people who are coming in from overseas and wanting to use their Chinese mobile phones back in specifically the US. He was kind of focusing on that because our mobile phone networks are very bizarre and don't line up with a lot of the ones in Europe and in Asia and things like that. So he specifically was looking for one that would work anywhere and in the odd United States mobile phone network system. Okay, so he walks you through, literally from when we walked in the store, the questions that he asked them, the buying process, the cash process, or not the cash process, but he does pay with cash, but the payment process, and all kinds of things, and even the gentleman in the store was able to put Google Play on his Chinese mobile phone, which, if you don't live in China, is really apparently hard to do. I bought my cell phone that I'm recording on right now in Hong Kong for that very reason, because I heard too many people had a really hard time getting Google Play on there, and if you can't get Google Play, then you can only use the mobile app stores of the phone that you're buying in China, and that's limited, and linguistically it's in Chinese and it's very hard to navigate. So you get a lot of apps that you see outside of the Chinese internet. You can't get them if you don't have the Google Play Store. So I thought it was really impressive that he found a store and was able to communicate in Chinese enough to have them not only reassure him that he could install Google Play on this Chinese mobile phone, but that they were able to install it for him before he left the store. But the main part of this is that he filmed his entire interaction in Chinese with the mobile phone staff, all of the questions, all of the interaction, everything, and he subtitled it at the bottom so you could follow along in English. So don't worry if you don't speak Chinese. I don't speak enough Chinese to follow the vast majority of what he said to them and what they said back to him, but you can follow it in the subtitles that he put on his video. And so I think it's really interesting because Winston, I forgot to mention, is from South Africa and has lived in China over 10 years, let's say. I forget the exact number. And obviously he's gotten incredibly fluent in the language. And again, he didn't put up this video like this is me speaking Chinese. He put it up as a different experience, a cultural experience of buying Chinese phones, the obstacles you might encounter, especially if you're an American, and the different questions you should ask. And then he's going to have a giveaway for these phones anyway, in addition to all of that. So his purpose for making the video is not the reason why I'm filming this video or highlighting this video. I'm highlighting the video because Winston walked into that store, had the entire conversation in Chinese, taped it for us, and subtitled the sucker for us too. Applause. Applause, applause, applause. Now, it probably doesn't feel like applause. Like, he's probably like, yeah, whatever, I just use the language that I use every day in China. That's just normal. And that's the point, is that when you get fluent in a language, isn't it supposed to just be that's what you switch into to function in that environment? And I try to veer away from negative stuff about language learners or polyglots in my videos, but I'm starting to see a lot of polyglot videos show up in my feed of people just showing how many languages they can speak in a video, but they're not speaking to anybody. What I love about Winston's video is that whenever he uses the language, he's using it with someone for another purpose. And I want to stay on track in these videos because that is what I want to highlight, is people that learn the language so far that they're using it for something else. I'm going to be, for probably years, focusing on showing you snippets of me learning the language and the difficulties of learning the language. But where I want to get to eventually, more so in reading form than in speaking form, but whatever, they're so interconnected. But what I want to highlight in these particular videos are people who just use it for another purpose. They're using it to communicate with someone for some reason, somehow. So they've gotten past the learning point, although we're all still learning. But these people I want to highlight are showing us what you can do after you're fluent. What are they doing with it after they're fluent? They're using the language for some other reason. And I just thought this video of his was so interesting. There's a lot of you can tell he kind of knows where his audience is, and you can tell that his audience is mostly outside of China, excluding yours truly, obviously. But so you can see that where he pauses and kind of backtracks a little bit culturally and tells you a little bit more than if you're living in China, you know certain things. And if you don't, you don't. And so you can tell he kind of backs up and explains things. And sometimes it's linguistically, but most of the time it's culturally. But so if you don't know much about China, but you're curious about this kind of video, please click on the link below and watch his video. He has tons of subscribers. He doesn't need my, however many people are subscribed to my channel to go over there. I'm not doing this for promotional reasons. I'm not doing this for any reasons. I've never met Winston. I just think that this video in particular, and when he uses the language in his videos in general, is an inspiration for people learning the language. That not only can you can get to a point where you can function in the language, but you can get to the point, as a non-native speaker of Chinese, you can get to the point where you can function in the language, and then kind of, I'm thinking, forget you're even using it, but you're just functioning in all language. And that's what's most inspiring for me about this particular video. So I hope you check it out. And who knows, if you need a cell phone, maybe even subscribe or do whatever the process is to sign up for the cell phone thing. I have 2 cell phones, which is already too much for me, and I don't really need one. I think it'd be more interesting if somebody outside of China were to subscribe and win the contest and get those phones, because I think there's a lot of misinformation about the factories and what is being produced in China. I think a lot of the information is outdated information. I think there's a lot being done in China that's not quite understood. So I think people outside of China should probably get these videos, but I'm not going to stop you. If you're in China and you want to apply for his giveaway, then by all means do that. Anyway, I've kind of gone off on a tangent, but I want to say thank you, Winston, for showing people that it's very, very possible, not only possible, but doable, and inspiring to be able to get to the point in the Chinese language where you are incredibly functional with using it. So this is the inspiring non-native Chinese speaker of the week. I have to do at least one of these videos per week, and if you can think of a shorter title for these videos, by all means, let me know in the comment section down below. I will have study updates, HSK updates, and general what the heck am I doing with the language now that I am no longer flat on my back sick with this cold after 3 weeks, coming up very, very soon. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to your comments, suggestions, feedback, and more soon. Bye! Sachin! See, I've forgotten all my language already. Ah!